see. Yes, we are. Okay, let me just double check we're here. We were here yesterday. Look at that, it says we're live. Okay, first of all, my iPad has terrible audio, so I apologize. If it's not one tech issue, it's another. So now that I have Wi-Fi, I gotta get my mic set up, and hopefully it works good on the YouTube. Okay, so I just gave myself a prompt to talk about because crafting is on hold-ish until next month. So if you guys like these prompts, like deep diving TikTok and questions, hey Missy, I just thought that would be a fun thing to do, like just chat about an actual topic. So I decided to pick one that I at least know without like notes or having to prepare for, which is, should you start a YouTube channel? And the only reason I really got this prompt was because my niece is picking up her sister from the airport right now, and she's going live. And she's about 25, and I was about 25 when I really deep dived into my YouTube channel. And you might be thinking, well, that was 10 years ago, right? Is it worth doing it now? Hey Melissa, I just texted you. So, which you know, because you texted me back. So, hey Barbara. Okay, so then we were chatting about it. We kind of talked about it in Zoom last night as I was talking to someone about making tutorials and how tutorials are super beneficial. And that's kind of where I wanted to start with, should you make a YouTube channel? If you have a small business, I think 100% you need to have a YouTube channel, but it is not to make millions of subscribers. It is not to make 1,000 subscribers even. It is literally a tool that is great for business, whether you're small or big. And I think every company should have one. Every small business should have one. And then we build from there. So that's something I'm going to be working with my small business members is what are they going to utilize YouTube for? Because it's a tool that, just like TikTok, can be used completely in its own way, specifically how the platform is designed. Hey, Emmy. And so YouTube is a beast, right? It is the hardest platform to grow on, which is one of the reasons I'm so excited that I started on YouTube. I think I actually did this prompt in the very beginning of the year too, but new perspectives maybe. I don't know. Especially after joining TikTok for 2 weeks and deep diving how easy it is to grow over there. But organic following and following are two completely different things, and engaged following versus non-engaged following are two completely different things. And I say 1,000 engaged followers is far better to you than 10 if you have 10 million, you're good. Than like 100,000 TikTok followers who are just like scrolling all day and don't even bat an eye at you. Like, think about all the people you follow on TikTok and how well you know them. There may be like 3 or 4 that you actually know their names. Can you say their names? Like, that's the thing, is, do you even know their names? No. Okay, so but YouTube, if you are going to start a YouTube channel, I highly suggest following Think Media. They have great resources for learning how to grow and scale on YouTube, but I don't think YouTube is just for that. And actually, when I first started YouTube, that was my goal, was to like be a YouTuber. I wanted to be a YouTuber. And then I started learning from Tim Schmoyer at the time, who had video creators and later sold his business, which is another reason why you can start a YouTube channel, because you can like sell it one day, but that's not like, if you brand yourself, that's not the best thing to do. So, but you could definitely build a YouTube platform community that is actually sellable later on. Then you have people like Daryl Eves. I don't know if anyone who knows who he is, but if you see him, he's got about 30 gold playlists and probably 50 silver playlists on his wall. And that's because he's mastered how to actually start and produce YouTube channels, because you don't necessarily have to start one for yourself. You can start one for a company, you can start one for someone else and help brand a human being. There's so many things that you can do with a YouTube channel, but it's a tool. And the reason we love YouTube is because it is a search engine, while TikTok is as well. TikTok's a hot mess. I'm just gonna say it. It's hard to find anything that you actually need over there. And everyone knows that when you need to fix your car, you go to YouTube. When you need to fix your water heater, you go to YouTube. When you need to change your pool chemicals, you go to YouTube. Any DIY you're going to YouTube for. So everybody is on this platform. Big, small, little, old, young, everybody uses YouTube. Your target audience is already coming to this platform one way or another. But the way YouTube integrates into your own website, your blog posts, your Amazon reviews, anything that you are doing outside of YouTube can be integrated into YouTube. And then you have this double funnel that we love because you have YouTube funneling to where you want people to go. And then you also have your audience being pushed to your YouTube. There's like certain ways you can do it. Am I making sense here? Does this make any sense? 100% yes. Brand your YouTube to your brand, to your business. My small business members are really working hard on getting their brands cohesive. And while we deep dived TikTok a couple weeks ago, we came to a conclusion last night that TikTok is all fun and games, but we're going to definitely use it as a tool only. It is designed to suck you in and keep you addicted. The one thing I'm loving about YouTube right now is you've got this sandwich of shorts and long form content. And actually, the 10-minute video is dead. It just is. It is right now in this day and age. I personally don't think it's going to come back. That's just my own predictions based on like seeing how things fluctuate. We have people who have very short attention spans, and then we have people who are burnt out on short form content, but they also, okay, so I won't say the 10-minute video is dead. The 10-minute video is definitely needed for an instructional, helpful video that people are going to be seeking out to learn something quick and easy. So scratch that, call me a liar. The 10-minute video is not dead, but I still would keep that between like 5 and 7 minutes. However, but that's not going to actually get you engagement with an audience that's going to love you and your brand. So you're really going to teeter on these two spaces. And the great thing about creating shorts, which I highly suggest everyone learning how to at least form a short video some way, somehow, is you now can upload that same exact video to Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. And you can do them all. And if anything else comes out, you already have that ready to go. I highly suggest keeping those without the audio if you added like a song or anything. That way, if songs issues ever happen, you can just re-upload it with a different song or a different sound. And then, do I do this? No. Will I do this moving forward? Yes. And long form content. So this is what I'm really loving YouTube for. A lot of us just want something in the background while we're crafting, while we are working, while we are doing mundane tasks, while we're cleaning. YouTube is actually the #1 streaming platform over Netflix, over Hulu. Did you know that? And people are streaming more and more on their TVs. So long form educational content is super, super consumed right now. Long form entertainment content as well, but entertaining, like making the entertainment world, you've got to be cut out for that. Like I could do that, but it's a lot of work, and there's so many other funny people on the internet that have way more time and energy to edit and post like creative stuff. Maybe one day I'll like want to do documentaries and stuff, but not at the moment. That's crazy. I started to do my short DIY videos on, why is it cutting your comments off? Let me go to my phone so I can read your guys' comments. Let's do some Q&A on YouTube. What are your guys' thoughts on YouTube? And have you ever done a YouTube video? Are you afraid to do YouTube videos? What's stopping you? What's starting you? What have you already done? While I look up your guys' comments really quick and drink my matcha. My sweet kid went and got me. I started to do my short DIY videos on TikTok and importing them on my YouTube channel. I need to get back doing that. Yes, and while Instagram and TikTok shorts are great, you could, and this is what I highly suggest, is taking your shorts and promoting your long form content if you have long form content. I always agree, I always believe you should be pushing someone somewhere on those short terms, whether it's pushing them to the next video on your shorts, whether it's pushing them to your websites, whether it's pushing them to a free object you have, or some form of gathering people to get closer to you so that you can start to teach them who you are and what you do. The great thing about YouTube is those can be on the same platform, so people don't have to leave the platform to go to find the long form content. So while you might be uploading them over here, the engagement is still going to be about as organic as it is on TikTok and Instagram until you have something that brings them in. And I think of your paper crafts, Melissa, that you could definitely turn that into an instructional series in some way. My issue is having the time, says Missy. And Barbara says TikTok has more of a relaxed vibe, less formal. I do love that. People do feel like they connect better on TikTok because people are very authentic-ish and they're a little bit more real, I think. But that's where, like, honestly, I mean, and look at me. I'm literally going the opposite direction right now for the rest of this year than all my other people in my same industry. They are like getting bigger studios and higher production value and building their teams. And I'm over here like, I'm going to scale it down a bit while I go live with my choppy internet and my terrible audio. And I care more about my people right now and showing up for them than I do about looking professional. So could we break that stigma on YouTube? I'm all for that. But you also do have to work harder over here. You do need to edit. And if you want to get to lives over here, there's a huge criteria over here. So it's not as easy for you to just jump in, but then that's way less competition. And I've been doing this for so long that I see a pattern where people will jump in and they usually burn out within the first 5 years of doing it. And for me, it's, I don't know, I guess I pushed through that because I could look back 5 years ago and that could have been a very, I did kind of jump off the bandwagon. So Missy says my issue is having the time. And Missy, I will send you I Think Media podcast that he did with this lady who started her YouTube channel based around gardening. And I thought, I was like, my life is busy. I don't have time. This girl, when I tell you, I was like, okay, I have no excuses. She was like commuting 4 hours a day. She had little kids. She was working a full-time job. And then she was also putting strategy into her channel. So she wasn't doing like a video every single day. She was doing a very strategic video schedule. And we can work on that with you, or trying to figure out what our strategy is with you, because honestly, with your business, I think more entertainment would be, but we can do that in a way where it's you're only filming and editing like for a few hours a week, not every single day. Yes, you might have a video hitting the internet every single day, but yeah, so we will chat about that. But it is very doable. It's just a matter of being disciplined. And like what I am doing this week is, and honestly, this has been so helpful. I'm just going to tell you. And this is, and yes, I'm doing this for God, but I also implemented it into like person. Hey, buddy. You guys see Oliver. He's on the ground, but he just grunted. Hi. He's tired. Okay, so this is a great thing that I'm like using in all my elements of my life. But there's a part of scripture that talks about striving for connection with God. I can't, okay, but striving. And so our pastor did this thing where he was like, put your arms up, and we put our arms up, and then we all just stood there, and then he was like, now can you go higher? And we were like, well, yeah, we can go higher. So it was like, you're not really pushing yet. You're not really putting in your max until you actually put in your max. And I've been doing that this week with just everything. And I'm like, could I do a little more? Could I stay at the studio for 1 more hour, 10 more minutes if I'm tired? And then I end up going for another hour. And so I'm not trying to push anyone to like push themselves crazy hard, but I am saying like, let's look at our schedules. And are you scrolling for an hour? And I'm saying this to myself because this is where I got with myself. I was like, if if I have time to sit and consume social media, I have time to stop and edit a video or take some footage of me doing something or planning, because honestly, I don't think you should do any of it until you sit down and actually hash out what you're going to do. I'm with puppy. I wish I could take a nap, right? Schedule in a nap, girl. Like, I know it's hard, but you gotta rest so that you can work harder in those hours too. Like, rest hard, work hard, play hard. Those are 3 things that I stand by. I think you should definitely do those things. I was hoping making some content in the evening when I get home from school. Yes, that would be good. We can also figure out like high productivity for you guys too, if you guys do want to come out with series or a weekly video or a daily video, what that would actually look like and what creating that would actually look like. So OGB Way Dream says, I already have 2 YouTube channels. This is my first, unfortunately not active and in time I hope to resume. Yes, so I highly suggest don't have 2 until you can master having 1. We get our system down, we figure out exactly how we do our system, and then we start another one. One of the reasons why I'm like, Dustin, I'm not helping you that much with this channel, because I got to get my own channel under control and back into a rhythm. And back when I started this, I was doing photography. I was pretty much solo parenting because my husband was in seminary and he would travel a lot for seminary. I wasn't solo parenting, but there were many times when I was solo with my kids, still taking them to all of their activities, their things, and I was putting out 3 videos a week, 1 for millennial moms, 1 for my YouTube channel. I think I was doing like Mickey Ear Mondays, and then I was doing Walt Disney Wednesdays, and then Tuesdays were on millennial moms. But at that point, I was not putting out very good content. And I think I was doing a weekly Cricut video too. There was a point when I think I was putting out 4 videos a week, but I had it down to a science, which I'm not in that rhythm right now. And I was able to do that, but I also had like a goal in mind. I was like, I want to hit full-time income in 2 years. So I know I needed to hustle for 2 years. I'm kind of back in that season right now, but those 2 years I think are going to start in 2026. Like right now I'm kind of in this feel it out, see all the platforms, figure out where I want to really jump in. Also bringing my business members along this journey so that way I can kind of coach them when it's time. So I can be like, you're good for Pinterest, you're good for YouTube. Not every platform is good for everyone, but YouTube is a tool that can be used for everyone. So build one, not build it, start one. You can make a banner if you want to, so it's at least your branding. And we can work on that in our Zoomy Zooms. And Melissa will be in our Zoom tomorrow too. Waffles and True Crime, I remember all of those. Thank you. I've been doing this for a while, and I'm over the idea of caring that it was like cringy or not perfect, or like I looked back and I'd be like, one day my production value is going to be so high end. While we have done some pretty produced videos, and actually filming some produced videos next week with some influencers, I'm all for it. But I'm also for just like bring people along for the process. My sticky notes probably are going to be on my boxes for another year. Like, let's not get it twisted. At least I know where everything is. I was working on intro short-ish video. Yes, and there are like things that people have been doing for years that now have a name, like hooks, which now that everyone talks about hooks, everyone pretty much knows what a hook is. But I remember the people who were starting this on YouTube always had a good hook. Why can't we do YouTube and TikTok content at the same time? You can. They're the same thing. They're both a video platform. So you can film your shorts and they're the same. You upload them to both. But YouTube, this one of the reasons why it's ingrained in my head that I don't want to live stream up and down, because I started on YouTube, which was like, we used to make fun of people who filmed up and down because it was like, you amateur filmer, like, but now everybody films up and down, and if you're filming landscape, people think you're weird. But I still stand by it, because all high production videos are usually made in that stand. I'm not even gonna like argue it. I think it's such a interesting thing that sits in my brain way too much that I'm like, why do I care? If you use the computer, you can do landscape on TikTok. Yes, but 100% of people are usually scrolling on their phones. So I would format your videos to what your viewer is most comfortable. And like, while you can turn your YouTube video this way and comments are on the left side. Oh, that's actually better. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm literally waiting for a shipment so I can go to the studio. But I was like, I gotta show up for my YouTube peeps. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do, which I don't think you guys can unlock lives, but you could definitely still start with some thumbnails. Like, start building out some thumbnails of some video concepts you want to do. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to load a bunch of thumbnails in here. So when I have nothing to talk about on a live, almost like a journal prompt that the teacher gives you on the thing, I'm just going to like make the thumbnail so it's already ready. Then I'm going to go live. And that's all what I'm about, is coming up with fun systems that make it a little easier so that you don't have any more excuses to not jump on. 30 videos. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. So, should you start a YouTube channel? Yes. Is it for creating content that people are going to subscribe? No, but we can do that if that's what you want to do. I may have missed something, but what is thumbnails? And sorry for the dumb question. No, a thumbnail is the graphic that is on the cover of your video. So thumbnails are super important, always have been, always will be, because most of the time, and actually YouTube is now updating that the titles with the text are going to be smaller, and they're going towards more of a Netflix viewing thing. So that way when you're on there, you're seeing the thumbnails. So the thumbnails are what grab people's attention. Thumbnails are extremely important. And maybe I'm doing a social experiment, but me turning on my janky camera and just standing there is very unprofessional. But I've actually found, this is like something I've never heard anyone talk about, as I've actually found sometimes I will upload a tutorial, and if I forgot to put the thumbnail on, sometimes it does better. Like, sometimes if it's just like me with my eye half open, sometimes it does better. And so while they're important, there's like a science behind them, but there's also just like a truth. Like, does your thumbnail tell people what they're going to see in the video? Yes. Is that video important for somebody to view? Yes. So if those two things are on lock, people are going to be proud of what they clicked on. They're going to be thankful that they got something that the thumbnail said they were going to get. And I'm a huge fan of at least delivering on what the thumbnail says they're going to get. And we can talk about thumbnails and designing them. I can either do another prompt or design with me, but you can set those up in Canva. You can do them however you want to do them, but you can also just take pictures and have a picture cover. But we really do like text on our thumbnails because that's mainly what people are going to read. A lot of people will do like crazy thumbnails. Obviously a thumbnail where you're like sad does really good, but overly doing that is really over. Like, I was like, I'm over this. Like, when my life just got real sad for a while, I was like, how many more thumbnails can I do with me being sad? I don't want to do anymore, but they genuinely do good. And that's because you have an organic people that you are talking to, and they care about these YouTubers. So you're not trying to evoke emotion with people, but when you connect organically and authentically with people, you're going to get people who are like, I remember when you were on YouTube 10 years ago making these wackadoo videos. Me. That's what I'm talking about myself. I used to post on YouTube a lot when I was doing chalk couture tutorials. Now that I've left the company a couple of years ago, I'm at a loss of how to revive my channel. So here's the great thing for you, Nancy, is you put all the work in for somebody else's business. If you want to know my stance on MLMs, I could easily make that a topic. I like chalk couture, honestly. I think they're a really cool concept. I know a lot of people who have done it. I even think I signed up for a second just to get like the kit because I wanted to make the craft. But I am highly against making any content focusing on an MLM, because an MLM can fall out of business at any time. And I don't know if they're still in business, but you left them and all those videos are for them. Can you extract that and turn it into some form of your own thing? No, you probably put all that work in and it's probably only good for Chalk Couture. If you were to have done those for your own business, you could have steered your audience to your newer products, your continuing products, your products that might be just on hold because you are taking a break, but one day you want to come back with them. But take it as experience. I've been in MLMs, believe me, and I could sit here and be like, oh, I wasted so much of my life learning about this dumb product that is never going to exist ever again. But we're not going to do that anymore. That's our first learning experience. And our second learning experience is, I don't know, whatever else you learned in there. Obviously, you learned how to make a YouTube video and to edit it and post it, right? So we're going to take those skills and we're going to use them again, but to promote your own business. And that's really what it's all about, Charlie Brown, is we are building brands that are going to be long-term brands. We're not in the business of making something because it's a fad, because it's a trend. Something I'm working on with my small business members, who a lot of them are here right now, is who is your target audience? Who are you, Seuss New? Does anybody know that book? That's my favorite Dr. Seuss book. But who are you, Seuss New? You can also go with the Tinkerbell metaphor. Like, you're cut out of a mold and you're good at something and you speak to somebody for some reason. Everybody's different. So we want to find out who you are, and we're not going to have 800 other people doing the same exact thing as us, because they're not us. It's all about connecting. Connections are amazing. Yes. Okay. So that's my chat on YouTube today. If you guys have more questions and you're watching the replay, comment, but give me more prompts that you guys would want me to do. Obviously, I can dive into this stuff way more with my business members personally, tailored to their brands, tailored to their interests and their needs. I can only do that generalized publicly, but I'm for it. I love sharing information. I love helping people grow. But if you are interested in our business community, a lot of them are chatting right now with each other because they've gotten very close, and we are an amazing community that helps each other grow. And come fall-ish holidays, definitely 2026 series, we are going to have a very seamless step-by-step program for you guys to join. And right now, it's only $15 a month. See you all tomorrow on Zoom, says Melissa. Excited! I know, I can't wait to catch up with you. All right, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!